Welcome to Remembering Icons, where Karen helps keep the memory of extraordinary lives alive with honor and appreciation. This channel is devoted to celebrating legendary figures from film, music, sports, and culture whose talent and influence touched countless people. Through every tribute, we reflect on their journey, honor their achievements, and preserve the legacy they left for the world. Osmond passed away at the age of 76 after living for nearly 4 decades with multiple sclerosis. As the eldest member of the Osmonds, he first came into prominence in the 1970s when the family group became a well-known part of popular music. While their success reached audiences around the world, Alan was often regarded as a steady, grounding presence within the group, someone who valued family, unity, and purpose as much as performance, living with quiet strength. For many years, Alan lived with a progressive illness that gradually changed his physical abilities, but never diminished his outlook on life. Instead of focusing on loss, he adapted with patience and acceptance. Over time, he developed a quieter, more reflective strength, learning to move through life with resilience and grace. His journey showed that strength is not only physical, but also found in how a person responds to long-term challenge. A life of service and connection. Alan was deeply committed to supporting others, even as his own circumstances evolved. He continued to contribute in meaningful ways through encouragement, presence, and emotional support. Whether through music or personal connection, he focused on uplifting those around him. His approach reflected a belief that purpose can shift over time, but it never disappears. It simply takes new forms. A legacy that continues. Alan Osmond's life is remembered not only for his early success in music, but for the way he faced decades of adversity with dignity and compassion. His story highlights the importance of family, resilience, and quiet perseverance. He leaves behind a legacy that continues through the people he influenced and the values he embodied, reminding others that even life's hardest chapters can carry meaning, growth, and lasting inspiration. June Lockhart, born on June 25, 1925, built a remarkable career that spanned multiple generations of film and television audiences. With a natural warmth and calm screen presence, she became one of Hollywood's most enduring and familiar figures. Over time, she developed a reputation for performances that felt sincere, grounded, and deeply relatable. Television success and iconic roles. Lockhart gained widespread recognition through her role in Lassie, where she portrayed a caring and devoted mother. Her performance brought emotional honesty to the series and helped make it a comforting staple for families. She later reached a new audience through Lost in Space, playing Dr. Maureen Robinson. In that role, she combined intelligence, strength, and compassion, becoming a memorable figure in early science fiction television. Longevity and professional consistency. One of the defining aspects of June Lockhart's career was her consistency across decades of changing entertainment trends. She transitioned smoothly between television, film, and stage work, maintaining a timeless elegance and professionalism throughout. Her performances often emphasized themes of family, stability, and optimism, which helped her remain relevant across different eras of viewers. Legacy and enduring impact. Reaching the age of 100, June Lockhart represents both longevity and lasting artistic contribution. She is remembered not only for her well-known roles, but also for the sense of comfort and familiarity she brought to audiences. Her work continues to be appreciated as part of classic television history, leaving behind a legacy defined by grace, consistency, and emotional connection. Claims circulating about journalist and UFO researcher Nick Pope passing away at age 60 have not been confirmed by any reliable or official sources. In situations like this, information can spread quickly online. but it is important to rely on verified statements before drawing conclusions. As of available public records and credible reporting, no confirmed announcement supports the claim of his death. Career in government and research. Nick Pope is widely recognized for his work with the UK Ministry of Defence, where he was involved in reviewing and analyzing public reports of unidentified aerial phenomena. His role placed him at the center of one of the most discussed topics in modern speculative inquiry: how governments interpret and respond to unexplained aerial sightings. His time in this position later became the basis for his memoir, Open Skies, Closed Minds, where he reflected on both the seriousness and limitations of official investigations, media presence, and ongoing influence. Beyond government service, Pope became a familiar public voice in UFO and space-related discussions. He frequently appeared in documentaries and television programs, including Ancient Aliens, where he offered commentary on historical and contemporary UFO theories. He also engaged with live audiences through speaking events, contributing to ongoing public curiosity about unexplained phenomena. A continuing part of the conversation, Nick Pope's work remains part of broader discussions around transparency, aerospace observation, and public fascination with the unknown. Whether in official research or popular media, his perspective continues to influence how these topics are explored today. Dwayne Wiggins, born February 14, 1961, helped shape the smooth, emotionally rich sound of 1990s R&B. As a founding member of Tone, he played a key role in blending classic soul influences with contemporary production, creating a style that felt both timeless and modern. His musical sensibility emphasized warmth, groove, and emotional storytelling. Songs that became part of everyday life. The group rose to prominence with songs that resonated far beyond the charts. Tracks like Feels Good and Anniversary became staples at celebrations, family gatherings, and quiet, personal moments. Wiggins' guitar work and production approach helped define the group's signature sound: smooth, layered, and deeply expressive. A creative force. Behind the music beyond performance, Wiggins contributed significantly as a producer and mentor. He supported the development of emerging artists, encouraging them to stay rooted in the traditions of R&B while exploring new directions. His approach to music emphasized authenticity and emotional connection, values that continued to influence the genre long after its peak commercial era. A lasting musical influence. Dwayne Wiggins' legacy remains deeply embedded in modern R&B and soul music. His work with Tone continues to inspire artists and listeners who value sincerity and craftsmanship in music. Through his recordings and mentorship, he helped define an era where songs were built on feeling as much as sound, leaving behind a body of work that still resonates with warmth, memory, and meaning. Joe Louis was one of the most influential figures in the history of boxing. He passed away at the age of 66, leaving behind a legacy defined not only by athletic achievement, but also by cultural significance. During the 1930s and 1940s, he dominated the heavyweight division for nearly 12 years, holding the longest championship reign in boxing history. Impact beyond the ring. Louis became a national figure at a time when racial barriers in the United States were still deeply entrenched. His success helped challenge perceptions and made him one of the first African-American athletes to be widely embraced as a national hero. Fans admired not only his victories, but also his composure, discipline, and respectful demeanor, both inside and outside the ring. Legacy and remembrance. Joe Louis is remembered as more than a champion fighter. He is viewed as a symbol of dignity, strength, and resilience. His influence extended far beyond sports, shaping cultural history and inspiring future generations of athletes. His legacy continues to reflect the idea that greatness is measured not only by titles won, but by character, impact, and the respect earned over a lifetime. Cliff Richard, born Harry Roger Webb in 1940 in Lucknow during the final years of British India, began life in a world already marked by transition and uncertainty. His early childhood was shaped by the quiet tension of a colonial environment that was slowly approaching its end. In 1948, after India gained independence, his family relocated to England, joining thousands of others who were rebuilding their lives in a country still recovering from the aftermath of war. The shift was not just geographical, but deeply emotional. They moved from a climate of warmth and familiarity to the colder, more restrained atmosphere of post-war Britain. Life in a small, crowded home in Carshalton was modest, often defined by financial pressure and careful budgeting. His parents worked hard to maintain stability, but like many families of the time, they faced uncertainty and emotional strain. These early experiences quietly shaped Cliff's outlook on life, instilling in him a sense of discipline, resilience, and emotional control that would later become central to both his character and career. Discovering music as an escape. As a young boy growing up in post-war England, Harry Webb found himself drawn to music not as a dream of fame, but as a form of relief. The strict structure of daily life and the pressures at home left little room for carefree expression. School did not offer him a clear path forward, and higher education felt out of reach. Like many working-class teenagers of the time, he faced the likelihood of factory work. It was during this period that American rock and roll entered his world, bringing with it a sense of energy and possibility that contrasted sharply with his surroundings. Artists like Elvis Presley and Buddy Holly became more than entertainers. They represented freedom and emotional release. Inspired, he began singing wherever he could, youth clubs, small halls, and informal gatherings. A borrowed guitar became his most valuable possession, and every performance, no matter how small, helped him build confidence. Music slowly shifted from being a distraction to becoming a direction, offering him a sense of identity and purpose. The first steps toward fame. By his late teens, Harry Webb had fully committed himself to music, eventually adopting the stage name Cliff Richard. The name itself reflected a desire for strength and stability, a symbolic break from his uncertain beginnings. In 1958, performing with his band, The Drifters, later known as The Shadows in collaboration, he recorded Move It, a song that would become one of the earliest British rock and roll hits. Unlike the polished pop of the time, the track carried a raw energy that immediately set it apart. It quickly climbed the UK charts and introduced audiences to a new sound emerging from Britain itself. This success was not the result of sudden luck, but years of quiet preparation, practice, and persistence. Behind the growing attention, Cliff remained grounded, shaped by a disciplined upbringing and a cautious approach to fame. He was not swept away by early success. Instead, he treated it as something fragile that needed careful handling. This mindset would later define how he navigated decades in the public eye. Rise. During a changing musical era. The 1960s brought rapid cultural and musical change, but Cliff Richard managed to remain a consistent presence in the British entertainment landscape. Songs like Living Doll, The Young Ones, and Summer Holiday made him one of the country's most recognizable figures. While many early rock and roll artists struggled to adapt to shifting trends, Cliff maintained his audience through versatility and discipline. Even as groups like the Beatles transformed global music, he continued to secure hits and remain relevant. His image was carefully managed, presenting him as approachable yet polished, a contrast to the rebellious tones emerging elsewhere. During this period, He also expanded into film and television, becoming a symbol of clean-cut British pop culture. However, behind the success was a demanding schedule and increasing pressure to maintain public expectations. Rather than relying on controversy or dramatic reinvention, he built his career on consistency. This steady approach allowed him to endure where many others faded, even as the industry around him became more volatile and unpredictable. Faith, identity, and reinvention. By the mid-1960s, Cliff Richard began to experience a deeper internal shift. Despite his success, he felt a growing need for something more stable and meaningful than fame alone. In 1966, influenced in part by evangelist Billy Graham, he made a public commitment to Christianity. This decision marked a turning point in both his personal and professional life. While it strengthened his sense of purpose, it also created distance between him and parts of the entertainment industry. Some audiences and industry figures struggled to understand his transformation, and his career momentum briefly slowed. However, rather than retreating, Cliff adjusted his approach to music and life. His faith became a guiding structure, helping him navigate fame with greater emotional control and clarity. This period was not about withdrawal, but refinement. He continued recording and performing, but with a renewed focus on balance and self-awareness. His identity became more layered, no longer just a pop star, but someone trying to align personal values with public life. Career challenges and comeback years. The 1970s brought one of the most challenging periods in Cliff Richard's career. As musical tastes shifted toward new genres and emerging artists, his presence on the charts declined significantly. For someone who had once been a dominant figure in British music, this reduction in visibility was difficult. There were moments when it seemed his career might be fading entirely. However, instead of stepping away, he reevaluated his musical direction. In 1976, he returned strongly with Devil Woman, which marked a surprising international success and reintroduced him to audiences in the United States. This comeback demonstrated his ability to adapt without abandoning his identity. He did not attempt to compete with trends directly, but instead focused on finding material that suited his voice and experience. The late 1970s and early 1980s saw further success, including major albums and consistent chart presence. This period confirmed that his career was not defined by one era, but by long-term resilience and adaptability. Sustained success and musical legacy. As the 1980s and 1990s unfolded, Cliff Richard established himself as one of Britain's most enduring musical figures. Albums such as Always Guaranteed achieved strong commercial success, and seasonal releases like Mistletoe and Wine became cultural staples. His ability to remain relevant across decades set him apart in an industry known for rapid change. By this stage, his global record sales had reached extraordinary levels, placing him among the best-selling artists of all time. Live performances continued to draw large audiences, including landmark concerts at venues like Wembley Stadium. Rather than relying on reinvention for attention, he leaned into consistency, offering audiences familiarity and reliability. Critics and fellow musicians acknowledged his longevity and professionalism, even when his style differed from contemporary trends. This phase of his career was less about reinvention and more about endurance, maintaining a presence built over decades of work. His catalog became part of British musical history, spanning generations of listeners, personal life, and private choices. Despite his public success, Cliff Richard's personal life remained largely private and intentionally reserved. He never married and did not have children, choices that often attracted public curiosity and speculation. However, he consistently avoided discussing intimate details of his relationships in public. preferring to maintain boundaries between his private and professional life. Over the years, he experienced close friendships and emotional connections, but he often placed career and personal discipline at the center of his life decisions. This approach sometimes meant personal sacrifices, including relationships that did not develop into long-term commitments. He later reflected on the difficulty of balancing fame with personal connection, acknowledging that his lifestyle made traditional relationships challenging. Despite speculation, he chose not to publicly define or explain aspects of his personal identity, emphasizing privacy and dignity instead. One of the most consistent themes in his life has been this careful protection of personal space, even in the face of public curiosity, public scrutiny, and legal resolution. In 2014, Cliff Richard became the subject of a police investigation following historical allegations that were later not charged. The search of his home, which was broadcast widely, led to intense media attention and public discussion. No charges were brought, and in 2016, the case was formally closed. The experience had a significant personal impact, as it unfolded under extensive media coverage before any legal conclusion had been reached. In 2018, he successfully pursued a privacy case against the BBC, resulting in damages awarded by the court for the manner in which the coverage was handled. The case contributed to wider discussions about media responsibility and the balance between public reporting and individual rights. Throughout the process, Cliff maintained that he sought not only personal vindication, but also broader accountability regarding how such situations are reported. While the legal outcome provided resolution, he has spoken about the lasting emotional effects of the experience, particularly the sense of public exposure during the investigation. Later years and continuing legacy. In the years leading up to 2026, Cliff Richard has continued to remain active in music and public life, though at a slower, more reflective pace. Now in his mid-80s, he divides his time between performing selectively, managing charitable work, and maintaining a quieter lifestyle. His financial success has allowed him stability, but he is increasingly focused on simplicity and personal well-being rather than expansion. He continues to support charitable causes, particularly in healthcare and children's services, through long-established philanthropic efforts. Musically, he remains respected for his extensive catalog and historical influence on British pop and rock music. His later performances are often seen as celebrations of longevity rather than attempts at reinvention. Looking back, his life represents a rare combination of early fame, sustained career longevity, personal discipline, and public scrutiny. While interpretations of his legacy vary, his presence in British cultural history remains firmly established, shaped by both achievement and endurance across more than 6 decades.